Okay. Uh, all all skinfolk ain't kinfolk. All skinfolk ain't kinfolk. And that Bible, basic instruction before leaving Earth, gave us multiple examples of still be weary, even though you may assume someone your brethren or your kindred, they may not. What are you talking about, House? Okay. Uh, I just, for one, I want to make clear that the Egyptians of old and the Hebrews of old were what we call today black people. They looked similar. They had this damn near the same pigmentation. Okay, but different nations of people. Again, you know that Africans, the Egyptians, Canaanites, Somalians, those come from the seed of Ham. You know, Noah had three sons. Then you had Shem, where Israel comes through. Okay, but I digress. But still saying that they shared the same pigmentation. Different nation, same pigmentation. Here's one example. You know about Joseph. Joseph had and his 11 other brothers. Okay, and anyway, I'm just gonna keep it short. Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery, into Egypt. Okay, lied to his father and told him he got attacked by some beast and Joseph is no more. Or Yosef. Okay, Jay didn't exist. Yosef. Okay. Anyway, some years go by. Okay, and within that time, Joseph grew favor with the king or the pharaoh at that time. The pharaoh had needed a dream. He had a dream and he needed it interpreted. And Joseph explained that, hey, there's going to be a famine, but there's going to be time when we have plenty. So in that time of plenty, if we stock up, load up, we'll get through when we don't have as much. And that there really catapulted Joseph in Egypt, even though he was a Hebrew customs. Okay? Hebrew man, Hebrew custom, never wavered from serving the Almighty Yahweh. Okay? This contributed to him in finding favor with the, again, favor is not fair, finding favor with the Pharaoh. Okay? Anyway, famine comes or whatnot. His brothers end up needing food. Mind you, the Pharaoh had put Moses over all. He said, Moses, I'm sorry, Joseph, forgive me. Joseph, you're going to run all that for me. You could just control it. And Joseph had worked his way up pretty high up in the kingdom. Anyway, his brothers end up coming in and needing food. Joseph recognized his brothers, but his brothers did not recognize him. He said, why? How? Because Joseph was in the Egyptian attire, if you will. Still black. Years had went by, but because he had dressed himself up in the Egyptian way, his brothers, after years, did not recognize him. What also aided in them not being able to recognize him is that he was melanated and black like everybody else. This showing you an example one example, because as time progresses, it shows you another example where they have began to multiply about in that time in Egypt. That Pharaoh that have gave Joseph favor had passed on, and pharaohs that came after had begun to uh, 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 tighten their grip, especially on the Hebrews, because they had began to multiply about and even began to start doing better than the Egyptians. It's kind of sound familiar. And Pharaoh couldn't have that. Okay, and so that's why things like killing the firstborns and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But neither here or there. The Almighty had in that book where there are a lot of folks like to throw away, and has multiple examples where you ought to be careful, because just because a person looks like you or shares your pigmentation doesn't mean they are your kinfolk. All skinfolk ain't kinfolk. Bible gives you clear examples of that. Sure, the Canaanites and the Egyptians and the yeah, sure, they were melanated. They were what today we would call black, but they weren't of the nation of Israel. They weren't the Hebrews. With love, house.